Since we're currently working on simple and compound sentences, I want to take a moment to talk about the punctuation. Specifically, where does the comma go in these sentences? I have 3 main rules that will help you know. Since we are studying simple and compound sentences, I want to take a moment to point out where the commas go. The details about knowing where to put the comma also really help you distinguish between a simple and a compound sentence. So let's take a look. I have 4 main rules for you to think about. Rule number 1, use a comma between a list of 3 or more nouns, verbs, adjectives, or phrases. So lists of things. Also remember that you need to put and or before the last item in the list. So, for example, here I have a list of nouns. I have a dog, a cat, and 16 fish. Notice that I have a comma after dog. That's necessary. Now after cat, this comma is optional. I can put it, but I don't have to. And then here, I have to put and before my last noun. Same thing with the verbs. How many verbs are in my list? 3, right? Swim, comma, jog, comma, and workout. I need to put and here. I don't need to put this last comma, but I can. Here I have a list of 3 adjectives. The cat was fat, happy, and healthy. Again, the last comma is optional. And then let's look at a little more complicated example. Here I have 3 verb phrases. To be more specific, they are infinitive phrases. So I hope to finish English class, study biology, and go to nursing school, and become a nurse. So in this list, I actually have 4 different things that I hope to do. I hope to finish, I hope to study, I hope to go, and I hope to become. So notice that all of those forms have to match. And then I'm going to put a comma after each item in my list. The last one is optional, and then and. I want to point out that in all of these examples so far that we've looked at, these are all simple sentences. So sometimes students see commas in lists and they think, oh, that is a compound sentence. Or they see the word and or the word or, and that is a compound sentence. No. These are all simple sentences. There is no place where you can cut the sentence in 2 and have 2 complete sentences. Also remember that when you have a list of just 2 things, 2 nouns, 2 verbs, 2 adjectives, 2 verb phrases, you are not going to have a comma. So I enjoy skiing and swimming. I need that word and there's no comma. That brings us to rule number 2. When you have a compound sentence, put the comma after the first independent clause but before the fan voice. So if we look at our examples, here I have a compound sentence, so that's an independent clause, a fanboy, in this case but, and then another independent clause. So as soon as I realize I have a compound sentence, I know I have to put my comma here, after the first independent clause, before the fanboy. Same thing here, it stopped raining, that's my independent clause, put the comma before my fanboy and then I have another independent clause, another complete sentence on the other side. The city was covered in snow, comma, so the schools were closed. Same thing. Just want to point out that sometimes students put the comma like this after so. No. There's no comma after your fanboy, just before. Rule number 3. Put a comma after a prepositional phrase that comes at the beginning of a sentence. So sometimes those prepositional phrases at the beginning of a sentence make it confusing where your subject is. So when you put that comma, it helps the reader or the listener find that subject more clearly. So let's see what that looks like. After his long nap, Mark felt much better. So my main subject here is Mark, and my verb is felt. At the beginning here, I have a prepositional phrase. So I put a comma at the end. Same thing here, in less than 5 minutes. I put my comma here before my main subject, which is the dog. Now for my last rule, put commas around transitional words and phrases. So here I said put commas around, so that could be a comma after or a comma before, depending on where it is. So these are words like first, second, as a result, consequently, however, and on the other hand. So look at my first sentence. Where is the transitional phrase? Right here, right? In addition. That's my transitional phrase, so I put a comma after. Where is my transitional phrase in the second sentence? It's in the middle, and so I'm going to put a comma at the beginning and at the end. So I'm going to surround it with commas. In my last sentence, where is my transitional phrase? It's at the end. So I'm going to put a comma right before that transitional phrase. So those are the 4 main rules that I wanted to focus on. Let's do a little practice. So she speaks French and English. Do I need any commas here? Well, I see the word and. Is this a compound sentence? No. If I cut right here, I only have one word sitting by itself. This is a list of 2. Do I need commas for a list of 2? No, no change. Number 2. 6 people passed the course, but only 5 of them got good grades. What kind of sentence do I have here? Simple or compound? Did you say compound? You would be right. 6 people passed. That's subject verb. Then we have but, which is a found boy. And only 5 of them got good grades. Another subject and verb. So I know this is compound. I'm going to put a comma before my found boy. Let's look at number 3. Without enough students in the class, the university will cancel it. What kind of sentence is this? I hope that you said simple. So the university is the subject and will cancel is the verb. What's all this at the beginning? We have 2 prepositional phrases. I'm not going to separate them. I'm just going to put a comma right before the subject to help the reader find the subject easily. Number 4, students may register in person or submit their applications online. What kind of sentence do I have here? Well, students is my subject. I have 2 verbs, may register or submit. So this is a list of 2 verb phrases. There's nowhere I can actually cut it and make 2 complete sentences because right here, submit has no subject in front of it. The subject is students. So with a list of 2, do I put a comma? No. And then finally, let's look at number 5. Visiting family and friends, giving gifts, and eating large meals are the highlights of the holiday season in the U.S. This is a little more tricky one. What kind of sentence do I have? You're right if you said simple. You only have one main verb in this sentence. One main verb, are. Visiting family and friends, giving gifts, and eating large meals. What are those? They should look familiar with the ing. Those are 3 gerunds. They're actually called gerund phrases because there's more than one word. So visiting family is my first gerund phrase. Family and friends. So I'm going to put a comma after that one. Giving gifts, that's my second gerund phrase. Should I put a comma here? I can, but I don't have to. And then I have and eating large meals. Those are my list of 3. So I hope that helps. I'm going to give you some practice with punctuating simple and compound sentences next. So work on that practice and we can check out how it goes in class. Good luck.